Director for GFS. For those of you that don't know who we are, GFS is the e-commerce industry's largest provider of multi-carrier parcel services. And this is our last session, but I think one of the most exciting ones because it's probably one of the most important questions that everybody's going to be asking themselves today, which is, how do I build and position my brand on the Amazon stores? And I'm very happy to be introducing our guest speakers. We've got Thomas Poulain from Amazon. And Thomas is an Amazon marketplace consultant. He's been with Amazon for the last 2 years. So it's really fantastic that we've got you on today, Thomas, because you've got a lot of specialist knowledge and experience and plenty that we can learn from you in terms of best tips for really getting the most out of the Amazon platform and growing your marketplace. And then also Arjun, who's the founder and CEO of Free Soul, which is the UK's leading nutrition hub for women selling nutritionist formulated protein powders, bars, gummies, and more. And Arjun, you've become an expert at selling on Amazon over the past 2 years. And, between yourself and Thomas, there's a hell of a lot that everybody's going to learn today. So plenty of tips and tricks that we'll all be taking away. So over to you, Thomas.
Thank you, Bobby, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everybody. It's great to see so many of you here with us today. As Bobby said, I'm basically a marketplace consultant at Amazon Marketplace here in the UK, working with a number of strategic brands across Europe in order to help them develop their online business. So today we'll be going through basically tools that will be helping you build your brand on Amazon and online in general. We will basically, so let's jump onto the agenda for today's session. So we have with us today Arjun, CEO and founder of Free Soul, and basically we'll be interviewing him. I will be interviewing him later today after a quick introduction over the tools that I mentioned. So I think that it's time for us to just give you a slightly more detailed overview of today's agenda. First of all, we're going to go through Amazon Brand Registry, which gives you access to powerful marketing tools that we've developed for brand owners. And then we'll be talking about some of the main tools that we have. So we have now a broad range of tools with more tools coming literally every quarter or so. So we can't talk about, all the tools here within a kind of 50-minute webinar. It's not really feasible. So I've basically decided to go through some of the main ones and then give a chance to Arjun to kind of talk through some of the best ones that he thinks are useful and also share best practice. All right. So first of all, brand registry. So first we start with the tip because it's something that brand owners may ignore to begin with, is the fact that if your products or packaging are not branded, but you have a registered trademark for your brand, then you're eligible to enroll in brand registry. And this will allow you to list ASINs with your brand's name as the brand value. So it's just something to bear in mind. I wanted to start with. All right, so it's very easy to enroll in brand registry, and I really encourage you to do it as early as possible. So first of all, you need to have an official trademark for your brand that is registered with the European offices. If obviously we consider selling on Amazon EU or Amazon UK. Once you have this number, then you just need to go onto brandservices.amazon.co.uk if you want to sell on the UK, or .fr in case you want to sell in France. Click on enroll now and then select the country where you want to register your brand in, sign in using your credentials and start the application process. If you don't yet have a Seller Central account, you can then create a new account and continue with these new credentials. For any brand registry related questions, I think that the best is to check out our Q&A, and you can also get in touch with our dedicated support team. Obviously, when we talk about legal questions related to trademarks, it can get a little bit, I would say, tricky and delicate, so don't hesitate to reach out to our experts. All right, so let's move on. As you can see, is a very short introduction of a brand registry, but I think that it's just important to go through it because all of the tools that we're going to see today are become accessible to you just after you've registered your brand officially. So I wanted to get started with, dedicated tools for brand owners with A+ content. So A+ content is, as you can see on this slide with these examples that we've taken, it's a tool that has been created to help you as a brand owner better market your brand. So it's basically customized content that you can add on any detail page, and is, as we tend to say, is a possibility to connect better with customers and really answer any questions that they may have even before they ask them. So as you can see there, we have different modules that you can use, and they're all personalizable, which is handy. You can use, for example, appealing set of pictures. You can highlight characteristics that make your brand, your product stand out versus the competition. And overall, yeah, I would say it's a very efficient way of connecting with your customers on an emotional level, on top of a pragmatic level. So yeah, that's it, in an intro, I would say, in a nutshell. So important bit to know as well is the fact that obviously, it encourages customers to spend more time on your detail pages, and this is something that is taken into account when we consider search engine optimization. Having more content will encourage customers to spend more time on your pages, and eventually will boost and push your listings at the top of the search results. So it's important to spend a bit of time designing it and make sure that it's available on all your detail pages. So for inspiration, I definitely encourage you to kind of have a look at some of the high quality A+ content available on Amazon already. It's an efficient way to get inspired before creating your own. This tool is free of charge, so really you've got no excuse, I would say. Another thing to bear in mind is the fact that you can easily apply it to several detail pages at once, so it saves time, obviously. All right, so moving on to the more kind of practical bits. So this is the A+ content success guide. We are not going to go through it in detail, but it's something that you should definitely have a look at before creating your A+ detail. So basically, we'll be sharing the slides later on, I believe, Billy, so you'll have a chance to go back to it and make sure that your A+ content is of great quality. How do we create A+ content? So that's a little bit more pragmatic guideline. So first of all, obviously, log into Seller Central, go to advertising and choose A+ content. Enter the ASIN number or just ASIN is ASIN is the reference number that we use to basically, I would say, call or refer to a product on Amazon. So we can also say SKU, but you just basically enter the ASIN number and then start creating your A+ content right there. So that's the second step of those of this creation process. So you basically add the content name. You then add the modules that you like to use, and add a few modules and then just start personalizing them with written content and high quality images. And I think that's it. All right. So now moving on to a second tool that is also super important for you as brand owners, which is the brand stores. So the brand stores are a tool that will enable you to present your brand and your product range in a comprehensive way. Within your brand store, you can create different tabs with different content, including product range, brand story, values, and an about us page as well. What's handy is that you can basically get, a single URL that you can then use to communicate about your brand and the products that are for sale on Amazon. So it presents, in the format of like www.amazon.co.uk slash your brand name, which is obviously very easy to communicate. So if we get into slightly more details, some of the other benefits of the brand stores, first of all, they help you tell your brand's story in a trusted shopping environment on Amazon with a unique URL, as I said. It also enables you to customize your store pages and its content to provide a curated experience dedicated to your brand and product range. Then another advantage is the fact that customers can access your store from both organic and paid channel on Amazon or across the web as well, with no end date and a dedicated brand destination. It also allows you to gain insight on ways to optimize your store and improve your performance. How to get started with brand stores. So first of all, obviously you need to create pages for your product. That's the first bit, and then you can add videos, text, and images to tell your brand story and show your product in action. Finally, you submit your store for review, which will be reviewed by our legal teams and make sure that it meets our legal requirements, and it will be reviewed within 24 hours. All right, moving on to the third tool, which is Vine. So Vine is it's one of our newest tools, and the important bit is that it basically helps you to generate customer reviews, which, as you may know, in e-commerce is key. You'll need to get as many customer reviews as possible in order to get the trust of customers and encourage them to buy from you. So yeah, in a nutshell, customer reviews program, right? That allows you to put your products in the hands of reviewers that we, have kind of vouched for in the beginning. So these reviewers are called Vine voices, and they were selected based on their ability to post insightful reviews on their prior Amazon purchases. So it's a great tool, powerful tool to help you, bring more customer reviews early on. The reviews themselves are published on average 12 to 14 days after the item is claimed, so you don't have to wait too long, which is handy, especially when you want to, start selling a new product. Characteristic about Vine is that the reviews are more helpful on average to customers than other kind of regular Amazon reviews, and they contain more information to help customers make informed purchase decisions. So we don't ask Vine voices to put necessarily, obviously, good reviews. That would be unfair. What we incentivize them to do, though, is ask them to provide, extensive reviews, kind of more detailed reviews. So they really help customers, make an informed purchase. In addition to that, Vine reviews help you surface products issues more quickly. So it enables you as the product designers and manufacturers to take action early on and avoid losing too many sales. So yeah, that's important. The important bit on Vine. it's actually not free of charge anymore. I forgot to update this. So it has been free for a short period of time when we were running the pilot. And now in the UK, we charge £140 per enrollment. So yeah, that's important to bear in mind. All right, so let's talk about some of the requirements that we have. So first of all, you need to become or to be a professional selling partner. That's key requirement, and you need to be an authorized brand representative in the Amazon brand registry, as we discussed earlier on. All right, item requirements. First of all, you need to, so we just said that already, but be a brand that is authorized. Basically, on Amazon, I have also fewer than 30 reviews per item. I have a buyable FBA offer that needs to be new, and finally, I have available FBA inventory. That I think makes sense. Very important to notice that as a general guidance, products will be banned in case they require Amazon to bundle multiple products for delivery and reviews. They require reviewers to separately order another product in order to conduct a review, or adult products. At this stage, these products are not accepted. You can find all of these requirements in more details, obviously, in Seller Central as well. All right, so how to enroll now? So first of all, you just need to, log into Seller Central once again and access the Vine window through the advertising menu of Seller Central. Then to a second and third step, and fourth step, sorry. So search for your ASIN as usual, and then click on Begin Enrollment. Select the select the given ASIN, and then enter the number of units to enroll. So you can request up to 30 units at the moment, which will naturally give you 30 reviews. If you want to add any specific variations, you can as well. In that case, just click on the Add Variations button, and finally click on Enroll once you've finished. Confirmation basically will be displayed on the Enroll ASIN, so you can, track your progress. All right, so I think that's it on Vine. If any question, let me know. And the last but not least of the tools that we're going to discuss today is the one called VSE, Video Shopping Experience. So this is one of the newest tools that we have as well, and it basically allows you to upload videos that will appear on the video section on the product detail page and in search results in certain occurrences as well. So let's see it in more details. So basically, it's a very, I would say, powerful tool, especially certain kinds of products that really requires to like slightly more explanation on how to use the product, and for the products in general, which needs to be kind of demonstrated, I would say, to the customers. So as you can see here on this example, we can see very clearly how the product is used, and how any it is, how someone could use it essentially. So I think it's quite straightforward, but yeah, these options become available recently. So how to submit a video? So you simply go to the upload and manage video page on Seller Central. Please make sure that you review our guidelines and restrictions overall. Finally, you just click on upload video at the top right of the page, and that'll be it. So in terms of requirements, just make sure that you check them, because we can't take any video that exceeds 5 gigabytes, and the classic 1080p quality. Also, formats are MOV and MP4 only. Make sure that you select kind of a self-explanatory thumbnail image which is the image that is going to give a preview to customers. Also, you can choose self-explanatory video title, so make sure that you do that thoroughly. And finally, you can select all the asins that you want this video to be applied to. All right, moving on to recommendations now. So what we see internally is that asins that have a video perform better on average than asins without a video. So naturally, feel free to post as many videos as you like to boost your sales. You can obviously reuse videos that you've already done in the past. They don't necessarily need to be kind of Hollywood quality videos. They need to be obviously clean and I would say not misleading. These are probably the best requirements or kind of the best guidelines that we could give. And ideally, videos need to be short as well if you want the customers to go through them all. All right, so then kind of videos that you could think of, obviously product details videos, 360s are quite popular as well, how-tos, unboxing that we've seen flourish on YouTube. We've seen also testimonial videos and kind of brand videos where you kind of talk about more your values on how the product is made, if it's sustainable, for example. And in case you don't have any videos, you can refer to our basically network of partners that's available directly inside Central. We have a number of partners that basically are entitled to produce these videos for you. So don't hesitate to check it out. It was quick. I would say not even 20 minutes, but the reason is that all of this information is available on Seller Central. It's really important to take the time to guide selling partners through them live. But as well, today we have a chance to have Arjun with us, obviously CEO and founder of Freesoul, and who has extensive experience over all of these tools and more. So I think we can move on to kind of more interactive and exciting bit. Arjun looking fresh on this picture, taken on LinkedIn. So I want to trust you when I say this, really.
So Thomas, that picture was taken before I started a business, which explains why I look so well rested.
That's a good one.
Before we start, Arjun, let me just remind everyone that's listening to please submit their questions on the chat, because we've had a number of questions come in. We'll answer them all at the end in the Q&A, but please don't hold back. Keep those questions coming. Okay?
Thank you, Bobby.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bobby. And Thomas, thank you for providing such a detailed overview of all the various tools. I think, it's important to go over it at a high level and then spend some time just going through the platform yourself, because it'll become second nature, but you just need to get ingrained in the kind of tools themselves. But very briefly, if you're not already wondering, you will at some stage wonder why a bloke is running a female-focused wellness company, and totally fair to wonder why. My background is in finance, and I used to cover a bunch of consumer companies. And the thing I noticed was there was a real lack of innovation, particularly on the nutritional front, towards female-focused wellness and nutrition. So this was an issue because, one, that's just wrong, because women have wellness and nutritional needs that are distinct and different to the needs of men. The nutritional requirements are totally different. And secondly, because at the time, my mum and dad, they were going through a bit of a health scare. And so that was an issue, that the power of nutrition and how it affected health was something that was very close to home. And so I decided to leave my job in the city, and I started working with some of the most renowned nutritionists in the UK to develop Freesoul, which, as you said, is the UK's leading nutrition hub for women. We sell protein powders, bars, supplements, gummies, capsules, all of which are rich in nutrients, minerals, superfoods and adaptogens that actually impact female wellness, from hormonal balance to hair, skin and nails to energy, and just overall macronutrition. We started trading about 4 years ago. We started immediately with both our own website and Amazon and retail. And so decent understanding on all three channels, and certainly on how Amazon has evolved over the past kind of 3-4 years as well.
Thank you so much, Arjun. I think it's a very comprehensive and impactful presentation of Freesol. I think that, yeah, your products have, I mean, obviously I'm Amazon specialist, so I don't know exactly how your products have performed in retail on your own website, but I can see that they've been performing really well on Amazon, and customer reviews speak for themselves. You've done a great job at designing those products and marketing them as well. So very happy to have you and give a chance to our audience here to learn from your experience.
So
Thanks, Thomas.
should we start with questions, or how do you want to do this, guys?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that makes sense. Bobby, do you want to maybe get started?
Yeah, good, fantastic. Because like you say, I think we've got a lot of questions here because we've got someone, Arjun, and you should be very proud of what you've done, Arjun, speaking as a female myself. And there's nothing more powerful than having somebody here that other retailers can learn from, because you've been out there and done it. So we've got plenty of questions here. And the first one would say is, what would you say would which tool would you say has driven the most impact for Freesol? So I guess Thomas has presented a number of tools. We saw the Vine, we saw other tools. Which one have you seen the biggest impact from?
You can't look at it in that way, is my honest answer. You have to look at it holistically. You can't say, well, if I just do Vine really well, then my product's done. So you can't say I'll just advertise, because if you advertise with no reviews and the price is wrong, then nothing will work. You need to look at all of these things as different tools to help different elements of the business, in the same way that if you run a shop, you can't just have a really nice shop front. You need shelves, you need good foot flow, it needs to be in a good location, same thing. So Vine is a great way to get reviews kind of starting to flow in. You do need to be conscious of the fact that, for example, if you run a pet foods business and you go on Vine, there's no guarantee that you're going to encounter people that have the types of pets that your product caters to. Although there's a good chance, but you do need to be kind of aware of that, and that's a consideration. But Amazon gets around that because you can choose the number of reviews that you're seeking from Vine. So therefore, you can almost say, like, look, I only want to get 10 reviews from Vine and see how that goes. Then you can do that. And that's often what we do. Then with regards to the product choice in itself, there's a tool called Brand Analytics, which is very, very helpful, because Brand Analytics tells you search volumes. In other words, it tells you demand for your product. So it'll say how popular and what are the volumes you're likely to achieve if you can successfully rank your product. So that's very, very helpful. A+ is incredibly helpful because it increases your conversion rate. Then you've got Campaign Manager, because you actually need to advertise your product. You know, there are so many products on Amazon, in the same way that there are so many products on the internet just generally, and you need to advertise them to be able to get that visibility. So the honest answer would be you can't just focus on one of the tools. You have to be good at everything.
They're all interconnected, aren't they, to achieve the end outcome, which is to get your brand, to get your products noticed, and to get that conversion.
Exactly.
Yeah. On A+ content, there is a question from the audience, which is, how many, I guess this is one for you, Thomas, how many different styles of templates are there on A+ content? Because we saw the one with the Johnny Walker, but are there other styles as well?
Definitely, yeah. So I would say A+ is a very kind of fast evolving tool in general. We've released as well a premium version of A+, which is paid for this one. But it's just that important bit is there are a number of modules that exist, and I think as you said earlier, Arjun, is really about trying them on and see what best fit your products basically. basically. It's really easy. It takes a few minutes to design a page and then to apply to like, I would say, a limited number of products. So you could do some A/B testing, yourself. Try a few modules, then give it probably like a few weeks, see how it converts, and then you can try another one to see if it converts better.
Right.
Depending on your kind of brand, maybe certain module with a certain message will work more than another one. If, for example, for you, Arjun, is like values obviously are super important, then maybe it makes more sense to insist on this. But for a technical product, maybe it makes more sense to use certain modules to explain how the product works. So that would be my view on this.
Okay. Thank you for that, Thomas. And there's one about brand protection. So if you're on brand registry, what level of protection and support do you get for your brand?
Yeah, we've got a number of programs there that help proactively and reactively brand owners to protect their brands against infringement, fake products, all of this. So we have dedicated webinars on our end that explains these programs in further details, because we have a number of them, and it's a key problem that we face and that we want brand owners with. So I would encourage signing partners to look into all of these. We've got program as well that's called Transparency that help brand owners against fake products, but we have also a team dedicated to dealing with all of the infringement of kind of branded material that is used on Amazon. So really, brand owners have a number of options to that they can opt for in order to better protect their brand online.
Great. And
maybe we can expand the questions to Arjun in case that you've seen, Arjun, any infringements happening on your detail pages or anything on that questions that you may have experienced.
Luckily not as of yet, but I think we have that peace of mind for exactly those reasons, Thomas. So we're registered, and therefore we know should that the occasion or the need ever arise, then we have that protection of Amazon services because we have the trademark registered. We're on brand registry. And so we've been lucky to not have to utilize that function, but at least we know it's there. So I think it's like an insurance policy. It gives you peace of mind.
All right, great to hear. Absolutely. I mean, no problem is good. It's very good news. But yeah, so.
Good. Okay. And there's one, this may be for you actually, Thomas. Can you register multiple brands on brand registry?
Absolutely. That's a possibility. I would say it's unlimited, really. So as soon as you've got a trademark for a new brand, then just take a few minutes to register it on brand registry.
Great. Thank you. We have one question here, which is about the virtual bundle. It says, is the virtual bundle going to be available in the UK? And if so, when?
So confirm that it is going to be available. It's just that this tool is available in the US already and is basically being brought to the UK and the EU. So it's just a matter of time. I'm not authorized to share the very precise guideline, but it's a question that I get a lot as an account manager myself, and that I know is going to make the life of a lot of selling partner a lot easier and also help everybody to save on costs. So it's something that, like I know our logistics and project management team have worked on a lot, and it's going to be available soon.
Great. Good.
Definitely.
Well, the questions are coming in thick and fast. This is a great one, actually, for you, Arjun. I mean, you mentioned that you launched FreeSoul 4 years ago, but you launched across your own website, you launched into retail and as well as Amazon. One of the questions here is, how much time on a day-to-day basis, how much time are you spending managing your Amazon store?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Just to give you context, we used to have a team that just did our performance marketing in-house. But what I saw was I was spending so much time on Amazon that I decided to just do it myself. And so I took all the data and I run all the accounts for all our advertising myself. And so the reason why I think it's important to do that is because it's not that difficult. You can run your own Amazon account. You don't need like 5 agencies, but you do need a really thorough understanding of what that means. And you have kind of lots of experts that can help you at Amazon. So I speak to Thomas as well. We bounce ideas. But it does require time. There's no two ways about it, especially if you have a big range, because you need to be able to go into the minutiae of keywords and bids and like budgets. And so I would say, to answer the question, how many hours a week do I spend just on Amazon? Maybe 5, but they're very intense hours. And wow. I do it all in one block. So I'll probably spend 5 hours a week on Amazon.
Wow. Okay. I'm really surprised by that because it sounds as though you would be spending hours on that. But like you said, I guess it's not just about focus. It's not just about the amount of time, is that dedicated focus,
For sure. And I would caveat to say that it takes me 5 hours after 4 years of experience. And so I'm much quicker than I would have been 4 years ago. And so that would have been a few days of work, perhaps.
Yeah.
But you become more and more familiar with the platform as time goes on, and you know what to look for, and you know how to do things a bit more efficiently. But you never stop looking. I mean, even before this call, I was looking at our sales rank across every single product. They're my favorite pages on my phone, my work laptop, every single device I have. And so it becomes second nature to look at these things, and you realize what's happening. And so those are 5 formal hours, if you like. But if you were to count everything else, it would be more than that.
Yeah. I guess the takeaway from that really is that to be successful, it's something that you have to be watching all the time, put the dedicated time into it to make sure that, you are covering the right bases in terms of having the right content, the right keywords to make you more searchable, etc. But then you're constantly checking it to see what else can you do. I guess what else is happening.
Yeah, I think so. But I genuinely like it. Like, I like working on Amazon because there are clear inputs and outputs. So you can control your budgets, you can control how much you're spending. And I think that's really important, because if you find it to be a drag, if you don't like going through your accounts, you don't like launching products, it's going to feel like a hard slog. You have to, really fall in love with that process. And so what you'll end up doing is then making contacts and friends with other Amazon sellers. And you just talk about what's working and what product areas are interesting. And so all of that, I guess, counts as work. But you just have to keep being quite consistent.
I just wanted to say one thing, because obviously, based on my experience internally, what I see is that usually the most successful selling partners are the ones that early on, are willing to spend the time to get the information and, learn about how things work, and also obviously get best practice from fellow selling partners, attend webinars, get in touch with us. These people are usually the most successful ones. So my advice would definitely be take the time, especially at the beginning, to learn about like how things works, and then you definitely have more chances to succeed quicker.
That's such sound advice. Yeah, you've got to invest the time up front to make sure you set yourselves up right. But then we've got another question here, which is, okay, so you've done that. You've been selling on Amazon for a while, but it feels like you're not growing as fast as you should do. What are the kinds of things that you should be looking at to try and accelerate your sales?
I've never talked to anyone that says they are growing fast enough. And so, I would say that's
not growing fast enough.
I've never heard anyone say, yeah, I'm more than happy with my growth rates. Everyone's like, oh, I need to go faster. So one, I would say that's a fairly normal feeling. But 2, if you genuinely are not, or if you're flatlining, you need to look at your products. You need to look at your product plan. You need to look at your budgets and just come down to fundamentals and figure out, well, why do I think this is not working? Or rather, why is this not working at the scale that I would like it to work at? And perhaps it's your choice of product. perhaps it's your budget. It's very rarely, I would say, your listing is just awful, because if you're investing the time to like look at your Amazon account, you surely would have done the fundamentals of like great A plus, great listing, keyword optimization. That all that stuff should go without saying. You have to do it. And so to get to the next level, I think you just have to drill down to your product choice. Are you in a good area? Is your pricing correct? How many products do you have? Those types of questions are more kind of fundamental ones.
It's a very good point, Arjun. And I would add that, yeah, if you do a very good job at the beginning of basically do your market research, and you come up with a product that, is kind of filling a gap in the offering on the market, then obviously you have more chances of quick success versus like a product that kind of lands on a very, very packed market already, where like there are so many alternative options, then you might eventually be as successful, but it's probably going to take a lot longer. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
Right, but there's another question here which is quite interesting. On average, what increase in sales revenue or number of sales do you see when a seller starts using video on the platform?
So for this kind of very specific data points, we don't typically share it. It's considered as confidential information. That being said, this is something that you can, measure yourselves on your end within your Seller Central account, but we don't share aggregated data on like on the kind of expected additional visibility that you may get. Obviously, it is there, and for certain tools we actually do, but I know that for video, because also it's a new tool, we typically don't want to either set wrong expectations, because obviously these results usually vary massively between categories, and between like products depending on their maturity. So yeah, we can't share, but I'm sure that, yeah, if you Google that, you'll be able to find some kind of broader data points on like how video is performing on e-commerce in general. I know that it's for sure more, so this I can say, but I can't say how much.
Okay.
I think the only thing I'd add to that, Bobby, is having good video content it should just happen. Like, you should just work on that as a fundamental, just like A plus. It's going to have a positive impact, but it's not a silver bullet. Having a video on your listing isn't going to take you to 10x. It's part of a wider strategy, just like having very clear bullet points, just like having high quality A plus. And so that's the only point that I would make. You need to look at it as a holistic piece.
Yeah, it's the whole mix, isn't it? Having everything blended together. But definitely video as a medium is hugely important, especially when it's about, I guess, promoting goods which you can't physically touch. Yeah, so if you can see it in a video, then that gives you greater confidence.
Absolutely.
Let's have a look what else we've got, because we've got some really good questions coming in. Oh, here we go. So if you decide to use a promo banner instead of the Amazon module one designed in Canva or Photoshop, will Amazon pick up the content for search results from the text on the promo, or will they pick up the content typed in the modules?
This is a very specific question. I don't have the answer to this. It won't pick up the text. You have to have it within. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is basically asking if you have a Canva image and there's text inside it, does Amazon read it, or do you need it in the actual Amazon
I think format? So, yeah.
And so, no, you don't have, you need to have it through the Amazon input, because otherwise it just registers as an image.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for that, Arjun. And
this question is broader actually for you, Arjun. What's to do with how your revenue, the weighting of where your revenue is coming from, where your sales are coming from. So the question is, you've got you're selling across Amazon, e-commerce, and to retailers. So what's the split of revenue currently, or your sales across those different channels?
Vast majority is through our website, but Amazon is growing like a rocket ship, to be honest. I think we're up 60-70% month on month, and but website leads the way. And so, yeah, and then retail sort of is our secondary channel. I mean, tertiary, if you like. I would say Amazon and the website for us are equally as important, but the website does lead the way in terms of the bulk of the revenue. Amazon has a much higher growth rate. Well, certainly month on month.
Probably.
Yeah. And but we push both equally as hard. We try and maximize our Amazon sales and maximize our website sales. And then with retail, you know, we're in I think 2,500 stores across the UK and Australia. But I think COVID has changed the way in which we look at retail. You know, if we get an amazing listing for example, our bars in Sainsbury's or Tesco, Waitrose, obviously that changes the dynamic a little bit, because we would really value those listings. But right now, it's not a massive part of the business. It's like maybe 5% of sales or something like that.
Yeah. And what about, I mean, you guys have had phenomenal growth really from 4 years, from zero to where you are today. I mean, that's incredible results. So what about, where's the growth going to come from? What about future expansion? Is Amazon part of that strategy for expanding?
Yeah, absolutely. We are launching internationally. We're in Amazon Australia. We manufacture locally out there. And so we're present there. We're going to launch into other international markets. Amazon was really helpful, by the way, in setting our account up in Australia. And so we had someone, so to speak, hold our hand while we just got familiar with the setup there, because there's slight differences between marketplaces, but I mean, generally it's the same, apart from a few nuances. And then just growing out our range, really.
Yeah. And how do you decide which international markets to go into? I mean, you're already in Australia because that's where you manufacture, but how do you go about deciding which other markets to expand into through Amazon? You know, is it going to be .de? Is it going to be .fr? Or are you just going to roll out across all of them?
Amazon Australia was a weird one. I mean, we manufacture all of our products in the UK except for our Australian sales. We're in a retail partner in Australia, which was just a happy coincidence. And then it was too far to transport the goods from the UK, so we found factories that could produce, and hence why Amazon made sense in Australia. With regards to how we pick the other markets, I think Brexit has a real impact now, because I mean, it is just harder to clear goods into Europe. Having said that, we've just cleared goods into Europe, so we'll be launching into Amazon Europe. The US is a very big market, one that we're considering. And so all of them are on the cards at the moment. I think it's just about weighing the pros and cons of each one. For us, a big one is language. So ideally, we would like to work in an English-speaking language so we can just kind of chuck our listings across. But it costs a lot more to transport stock further away. So there's a few kind of thought processes going on.
Swings and roundabouts. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it sounds as though Free Soul is coming on in leaps and bounds. And I'm just excited to, you know, if I could fast forward and see where you guys are going to be in 2-3 years' time, gosh, you know, the world is your oyster. But it's also fascinating to see how you're growing your business on the Amazon platform, using all the tools available, but also being able to talk about your future expansion again through Amazon. So that's amazing. I don't think
more tools to come now, because I'm in touch with the team basically who's in charge of bringing new tools. And what I can say is, on top of the one that we discussed earlier, which is about creating virtual bundles, there are at least 2 additional tools as well to be published this year. So and everything is, you know, coming on top of the existing tools. So I think that, just watch out. Sometimes the way that we advertise these tools is a bit unclear, to be very honest. We don't typically send, you know, a newsletter to tell everybody about this new tool. So it's really on you to take a bit of time just to look out for new tools that may have appeared on the Seller Central. Obviously, you may receive a notification, but not necessarily all the time. So that'll be my advice.
Just on top of, in addition to that, Thomas, the next question is going to be: is there any training, or are there video tutorials on the tools, on the existing tools as well as new tools? How would merchants find that?
Yes. So internally, we've created a couple of years ago the Seller University, which is a central repository that is available to every single selling partner on Seller Central. So I would really encourage everybody in the audience today to have a look at it and look for, like it could be recordings of previous webinars. It could be explanatory videos by the product teams themselves. I think it's a very rich source of knowledge, but it takes selling partners to actually actively look for it on the Seller Central and look for the content that they need. That would be my advice, 100%.
Okay, that's good advice. Any parting tips that we want to leave our listeners with? Maybe Arjun, if you wanted to leave the guys with one final thought or tip, what would that be from your side?
I think you genuinely have to fall in love with the Amazon platform, because if you don't, the amount of work, it'll feel like a bit of a drag, but it is genuinely enjoyable if you really get stuck into the nitty-gritty. And the more effort you put in, the more you'll get back from the platform. So I would say really invest your time in trying to enjoy that process.
That is really, really good advice. And Thomas, I know you've given the guys all some tips and stuff already. Is there anything else that you would like, a final parting thought for our listeners?
I think I just give like a recap, because I think my first thing would be really to conduct a thorough market research, leveraging the tools available, including Amazon. There are tools such as, like, I know Jungle Scout is a very powerful tool to look for market gaps. So that would be my first thing, because if you come up with the good idea, that is going to make the process a little easier, and just not do the I think you should kind of drop feelings there, and not kind of try to create the products because you like it, but rather like take it the other way around and look for product gaps, or like market gaps. That would be the first thing. And then obviously produce high quality products and try to get customer feedback as early as possible, on the basis of like lean production overall. Try to come up with a prototype that get it tested and iterate, etc. And then when it gets to when it hits the Amazon marketplace, then make sure that you get leverage all the tools available. As Arjun said, it shouldn't be even like something that you wonder about. Is something really that you should do. Every single tool, especially the free ones, you should leverage them. It's a competitive marketplace, as the overall internet nowadays. So you need to leverage every single tool available, and then pilot advertising campaigns. Just try to be smart about it. I would say so. Yeah, that would be my final point.
That's good. And it is indeed a very competitive marketplace. What was the tool that you mentioned, Thomas? I think you said it so fast, the tool for identifying gaps, product gaps in the marketplace.
So yeah, it's a website that's called Jungle Scout. I know that a few of the selling partners I work with use it. There are probably similar options, and it's in no way advertising for them. But it's just that I know it's a powerful tool. So that's just like an idea that you could use. But yeah, in general, the logic is really to look for market gaps, and that tool help you do this.
Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you both for your time today. I thought that was a really fascinating session. Lots of good tips to be taken away. That brings us to the end of day 2 of Tame Bay Live, which has been really interesting, packed full of information. Just want to remind everybody that is listening. First of all, before I forget, let me say many thanks, Arjun, for joining us. You obviously a very busy person, and Thomas, for you as well. Thank you very much for your sessions.